I just want to thank Melanie Court and Geraldine for arranging all this. It's nothing to do with myself or Andrew Morrison. That's Andrew there. Andrew and me are basically midnight pictures, we like to call ourselves. We're childhood friends, known each other all our lives, and we are massive horror movie enthusiasts, which is really what led to 6 movies now that we've made together. There's actually more than 6, but nobody's first movies are ever really any good. So before Zombie Genocide, there was such wonderful titles as The Black Exorcist, which was a black exorcist. It was our friend Sanjeev Sarawal, an Indian guy, who had no problem with that sort of racist stereotype. And then we had another wonderful title called Weirdo in the Woods, which had the massively original story of 5 guys who go out into the woods to get drunk. One of them has to get up and take a piss and go somewhere, so he gets killed. The other guy gets up to go and find him, he gets killed. And then the other guys say, where are those 2 guys? And they all wander off in separate directions. They get killed, except one who makes it home. And the weirdo follows him and kills him. So, thankfully, this one hasn't really seen the light of day, and we tend to think of Zombie Genocide as our first movie. Now, what I really want to talk about is the extreme technical constraints that went into making a movie in the early 1990s when you didn't really have any equipment. So bear in mind, there was no internet even back then, and the popular computer at the time was the Commodore Amiga, which was a games machine. Right? So we just made do with what we had. Even owning a video camera was quite a luxury, and I believe the first one that Andrew had was actually a rental. Now, you would never dream of renting a video camera. And so, I mean, one of the cameras that we had, it actually took a full VHS tape right in, on your shoulder, you know, just that sort of thing. Whereas now you can have a high definition camera that's like this small, it's HD pictures, whereas the word HD hadn't even been invented back then. So we didn't have any editing equipment either. So it's actually almost unthinkable to make a movie under those conditions, and nobody was really doing it, whereas there are lots of people today who are. And there's Jamie Lee Sterrett, whom I know down at the back. He's another horror movie enthusiast. He makes his own little films, just like me and Andrew did, but he has it easy compared to us. So here's what it was like. Here's how you make a film without the right equipment. There is no editing except the editing you do there and then as you're shooting the film. You've got the pause button. That's it, on your camera. So we've got to record the entire film in sequence. Every shot you do has to count. If you flub it, you have to rewind the tape on the little camera, line it up exactly right and hit pause at the exact moment. Whereas today, you can splice every second up into 25 frames. And if you could say, oh, I think I would have 2 frames less on that one, we could take those 2 frames away. No, we had to just approximate. And you had to make sure you said action before you let the pause button off. And everybody who was acting had to kind of know that when he says action, we've got to just start going and moving and say the right thing. And hopefully we didn't cut off the first words that the person said. And every maybe 2 minutes, we go back and we do a review just to make sure we've got it right. And if we haven't, we might have to delete 5 shots, go back and start to do them again. So, madness. But we did it, and it wasn't a short film either, it was an hour long. So we did it more than once a wee bit like that. Although in future films we had a video recorder to help us, but in this one here we just did the editing on the camera, and that was it. Somehow it works. I hope you'll think it works. And I hope you'll not be too cruel. But you've got to put yourself, kind of, to enjoy this, you've got to put yourself back into the time period that it was made and the constraints. And I think a lot of people love it because they can see the enthusiasm that really went into it, you know. So that was the technical side of things from the camera point of view. The film does also have a full soundtrack running through it that was done on Commodore Amiga by myself and a guy called Clifford Mitchell, who was part of the band Joyrider that some of you might remember from time. They're disbanded now, but they were quite big for a while. So the music was done on the computer. You only had like 4 channels of sound. It was very, very primitive. And you had to record it on a tape recorder. So then, to get the music onto the actual film, we had one video recorder set up with the original movie, with another video recorder set up to receive the movie, and then we had a tape recorder set up that was going to play it at the same time and record, and that would be our master copy. We had to time it all exactly right, and if I made a mess up with the timing, the whole thing had to be done again from start to finish. So that's how the music was put on. And then there was even things like, I remember I was using a different tape recorder than the one I recorded it on, and the tape was slightly different speed. Nothing was digital then, you know. So it got done. Eventually it got done. Then special effects, which was Andrew's forte. Andrew pulled out all the stops in certain ways. Like he bought a replica gun, so the gunshots they really do look authentic. And the film was recorded at like 6 to 6:30 a.m. running around the streets of Portadown at the height of the troubles. So I'm sure there were. We didn't see any police lanterns all around, but I'm sure there were a few people lying on the edge. Something went out there, whatever, and says, "Oh, that was gone," you know. So I think the first time, you know, we did it, and we basically said, "This was the first shot we fired on this thing." And they were just going to go. It's like we thought, well, you know, we shouldn't be doing this. And the whole film was recorded guerrilla style. You know, we didn't ask for permission for anything. I mean, you see us hanging around Portadown College and Portadown Tech, as it looked way back then, and a few other locations. Pay no mind whatsoever to the geography of the town. You'll be in Kernan 1 minute, and suddenly that'll join up to Kilgamian Drive. You know, it's just pay no mind to that. We were doing it for a wider audience, not really. So bear in mind, you know, other special effects, you had to be really elaborate because you had nothing digital. You know, this is a horror movie, there's going to be blood in it, buckets of blood. So Andrew worked in chemical factories, so he got lots of food dye mixed with coffee and stuff. Maybe some very liquid in there, I don't know what, all went into it to try to get the right blood consistency. And most of it was involved tubing hidden in the clothing. Someone just had a camera with a big syringe of blood, just ready to go, and it all comes flying out. If you really look carefully at some of the shots, you'll see the tubing. But we were pretty good for the most part, and I think it works well. You see, you have it so easy now. With today's audience, you've got no special effects package, digital blood that you can make from spurting out. But I think the authentic is better somehow. Just like I prefer watching a movie like Mad Max 2, where the car chases are real cars being wrecked, not these digital cars that are just done inside the middle of a computer, which is just not the same. But I'm not going to pretend that you're about to watch a real movie. Not really. It kind of tickles me that this has a listing on IMDb and everything, and ratings on IMDb. You know, now and again I'll type zombie genocide into Google and I'll find a review of it that I never saw before and stuff. Back before the internet was around, you know, Andrew would have swapped horror movies a lot with people via mail. So a lot of copies were thrown around here and there. And then for a while we were selling DVDs of it on eBay. And we were just copying the DVDs, we had our own covers made up and everything. But they did sell, which was really strange. People were paying about £10 sometimes for all these things. I guess that's down to the zombie genre. You know, there's always zombie fans. So there are a lot of copies floating around, and then of course when it was put up on the internet, a lot of people downloaded it since then. So the movie was made over a period of 2 to 2.5 years, which is another part of the insanity that went into this. We didn't set out to make it in over a long period, but the fact is we all had stuff to do during the week, and a lot of this movie had to be. It involves a deserted town, so to do that authentically, you've got to get up at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. We hated it, but we did it. So that took a long time, and you'll see in one scene there'll be, you know, the leaves out, the autumn leaves out, and then it's back to spring again. Stuff like that. Something for a while Andrew goes for the Anne Boleyn look, and then it's short hair again, stuff like this. But you just sort of, this is all just part of the fun of the whole thing, you know. And then, of course, there's the risk of, you know, somebody who's a key member of your cast bailing out someone through the film. Because none of us are under contract, none of us are certainly getting paid for any of this. Ironically, the one who did throw a real spanner into the works, I think, was me. Because I became a Christian at the time, and I was dealing with, you know, how do I reconcile being Mr. Holy with making a horror movie with gratuitous blood and gore? So I came through that experience eventually, with some measure of sanity still left in me. But, you know, it just goes to show you, it's a miracle the darn thing was ever made. And we've made subsequent films, 5 or 6, and for some reason, this is the one that everybody remembers, and this is the one that everybody loves. We dedicated it to a friend of ours, Roger Love. You'll see his name come up at the start of the film. He, not long before the film was begun, he was killed in an IRA, bomb attack in Armagh. He was in the UDR at the time, and the Land Rover he was in got bombed. So he was one of our mates from childhood. And another zombie movie fanatic like ourselves. So it's dedicated to him. Now that's song of Genocide. So fast forward 20 years, and that's 2005, which is alarmingly long ago still for us. We haven't made a movie since 2005. Don't Look in the Attic. It's a short one, it's only half an hour long. It's a very different kind of movie. It's a little more family friendly, but that's only because it's psychological horror, not sort of in your face blood and guts. And I have a lot of fun every year in that I work at Clowna Junior High School, and they show it as part of the English curriculum every year to the kids, because they're teaching them about suspense and stuff, and I get to give them a little talk about suspense. But I like to sit in the classroom and just watch the faces, and all the bits that make you jump. So I really hope you do enjoy. I'm not saying too much about that one, but I hope you do enjoy Don't Look in the Attic, which I think Andrew and I, we consider it our finest moment, to be honest, in filmmaking. But I hope you enjoy the whole thing. All right, thanks very much.